The world per se is not bad. Our attachment to it is causing the problem. It is always and always only the mind which is the cause of bondage and liberation.
Bhagavad Gita Chapter 4 verse chanting is followed by translation and commentary by Swami Mukundananda.
गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते.
They are released from the bondage of material attachments, and their intellect is established in divine knowledge. Since they perform all actions as a sacrifice to God, they are freed from all karmic reactions. He is now concluding this topic of working in divine consciousness. He says such saintly persons, first of all, they create a divine vacuum within themselves. How do you pump up the water? You have to create a vacuum. One person went to an Indian village for the first time from California. He had never seen a hand pump. It was his grandfather's village. So they all went to sleep at night, and the morning he thought he will have tap water for his bath. So his grandfather said, you have to pump it from here. These 2 buckets you can fill and take them inside and have a bath. So he tried pumping and nothing was happening. So he said, there's no water coming out. Grandfather said, keep on at it. So he kept on pumping 10 times, still nothing. Carry on, don't stop. Now after 30 times, that vacuum had been created in the pipe and the water started coming out. His grandfather said, now keep pumping, don't stop. And the water was flowing out in full force. So to get the pump to draw out water from the well, you have to have the vacuum. That is how the rain also falls. People were telling me on the East Coast, I forget which of those cities it was, because in the last 1 month I went to 8 cities. So one of the cities, they were telling me, Swamiji said it's getting hot. They said, Swamiji, the moment it gets hot, very soon the rain comes. Because the heat causes the air to rise. And that results in a vacuum. And the vacuum pulls the moisture from the ocean. And then the clouds. And then the rain downpour. So likewise, if you want the downpour of divine grace, then you have to create a vacuum in your heart. This is the vacuum of detachment. If you want the grace of God to come, then detach yourself. We people say, dono haath mein laddu. I want all my worldly attachments to remain intact, and I also want God to grace me with divine love. God says this will not happen. You will have to create that vacuum. But remember, He is not saying you run away from the world. He is saying take the world out from inside of you. The world per se is not bad. Our attachment to it is causing the problem. Once, in one hall, there was a practice session going on the stage of an orchestra. And likewise, a carpenter was also doing his work by the side because the maintenance had to be done. So here, the orchestra, they are trying their best. Now they want all the harmonics to be just perfect. And there the carpenter is going talk, talk, talk. So the moment he would start, the director of the orchestra would look at the carpenter. The carpenter would look at the director. Then again he would go on talk, talk. Then again they would exchange glances. After a few minutes, the carpenter put it down. And he said to the director, "Look, you guys are not disturbing me. You can carry on." So who is disturbing whom? Likewise, we have the world on the outside and the world inside of us. So our illusion is the world on the outside is disturbing me. It is my relatives who are the cause of my BP going out, etc. And it is always the outside world. Why are you so tense and anxious? It is because of him, because of her, because of this, because of that. But the Bhagavad Gita says, no. It is all inside you. Your own tension caused because of attachment. And attachment is leading to expectations and then disappointments. The saints are also in the same world and they are not experiencing any tension. It's not that they are living on a colony in Mars. They are also living in the same world. And yet they are free from anxiety. Once, one king, he had a guru who used to live in the forest. So the king, motivated by desire to serve, went to the guru and then offered him a silver plate. And to honor the disciples' seva bhav, the guru started eating from the silver plate. Then the king thought, he's my guru. He should drive around in a good car. So he presented him with a nice car. And slowly the possessions started increasing. Until finally he made a palace for the guru, just like he had for himself. So the guru now was living in a palace, just like the king was. All the opulence everywhere. The doubt entered the king's mind. The king said, "Gurudev, now there is no difference between you and me. Because I am living in luxury and so are you." It's a genuine doubt. Many people have that doubt. So, the Guruji, he smiled. He told his disciple, "Beta, let's take a walk in the forest." The king said, "All right." They started walking in the forest. They went for an hour. The king said, "Guruji, when will we turn around? Let's take an hour, continue walking a little further." They continued walking. After half an hour, the king said, "Guruji, are we going to turn around?" The guru said, "What is the hurry? Let's keep walking." They walked another 1 hour. Now the king was getting really anxious. He said, "Gurudev, are we not going to get back?" The guru said, "What is the need for getting back? Let us live out here in the jungle." The king said, "Guruji, how is that possible? I've got my queen, I've got my children, I've got my dog, etc., everything." Guru said, "Beta, that is the difference between you and me. You said there is no difference between you and me. We are both living in the same palace. That is the difference. For me, there is no difference between the palace and the jungle. Because I have no attachment. Wherever the Lord wants me to be, I will be. You presented me all these things. And to respect, to strengthen your seva bhav, I accepted them. But it doesn't mean that it has affected my attachment, my detachment in any way." So, the internal state is what the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. And so many people in the world, they miss out on this point. this is Phalahari Baba. Now, how many Phalahari Babas are there in India? What does he do? He eats only fruit, so he's Phalahari Baba. But tell me, there are so many animals that eat only fruit. So just by eating a fruit, is that a sign of some spiritual elevation? And this Baba, he is Dudahari Baba. He only drinks milk, so he is more senior than Phalahari. And this Baba, he is Pavanahari. He eats nothing, he only does pranayam. Then he's got the certificate of God realization. So we take these external parameters of detachment. He is Mauni Baba. See, the most convenient thing when you become a Baba, people will come and ask you questions. And if you don't have knowledge of the scriptures, you become a Mauni Baba. Take the vow of silence. Now the disciples will say, our Guruji knows a lot, but he's under 12-year vow of silence. After 12 years, extended for another 12 years. After that, another 12 years. And after that, there'll be so many thousands of disciples, even if people come to know or don't know, who cares about it and then. So these external vairagya, this is not the parameter for renunciation. Otherwise, the animals are more renounced than us. Is it not? The monkeys live on the trees. They don't sleep in luxury beds. The goats eat only leaves. The donkey puts ashes all over itself. The snake, it stays alive for so many days merely on the air. If external renunciation could result in God realization, all these animals would have achieved God. But it is always and always only the mind which is the cause of bondage and liberation. So when the mind is detached, their intellect is established in divine knowledge. Now Sri Krishna says they are doing every work as an act of sacrifice to the Supreme. So this is the seva bhav, the act of sacrifice. Then what becomes their consciousness? He is going to explain in the next verse.